Record Store Day 2018 has come and gone. So I'm going to go through my experience of Record Store Day 2018, and then I'm going to go through my vinyl haul that I got today. I emailed my local record store Thursday afternoon and asked if they could please tell me which titles they had on my list and which ones they didn't have, and preferably how many of each one they had, so I could kind of gauge what time I needed to get there. They had almost every single thing I was after, except I believe one thing. In addition to that, they only had a few copies of some of the things I wanted, so I knew I had to get there early. I left my place at 4:30 a.m., picked up a friend, and we got some donuts and went down there. We were probably there at like 5:15, 5:30, and we pulled up a couple chairs and just hung out. Now, every record store in Houston is absolutely phenomenal. But when it comes to Record Store Day, there's one that just stands out above the rest, and that's Cactus Music. They seem to get the most Record Store Day titles out of all the record stores in Houston because they're the biggest and they seem to get the most traffic. I know out of all my local stores, they're going to get the most titles and the most copies of those titles. My friend and I got there at about 5:15, 5:30, set up our chairs, and we were probably 15th or 20th in line. Whereas normally in previous years, I was 60th, 70th. So we did pretty good this year. Tried to nap unsuccessfully, so we just talked and listened to music for hours, and before we knew it, the doors were opened at 10. For the first time in my 6 years of participating in Record Store Day, I was in the first group to go into Cactus Music. So, here's what I got. Of course, I picked up the Led Zeppelin 45. This is Rock and Roll and Friends, different mixes of each, and it's on yellow vinyl. I was actually very surprised to see that it came with a 45 adapter. Good move, Jimmy Page. The color complements the cover art really well, and there's the back. The Record Store Day website doesn't say what this was limited to, but Cactus Music got 120 of these, so I feel like it wasn't that limited. But I listened to the mix of rock and roll, and I really like it. The background guitars are a lot more present, and I actually kind of prefer this version. Iconic performances from the Monterey Pop Festival, June 16th, 17th, and 18th, 1967. Nice gatefold, very nice gold packaging. It is on colored splatter vinyl. It's kind of pink and orange. I don't know how well that's coming through. The other disc is the same. This is one of the things that I was really worried about getting because there were only 1,000 of these and Cactus only got 3 of them. This was another great release. Arcade Fire's first EP from 2003. It's got a beautiful cover art, a nice gatefold which was surprising. It's numbered down here in the gatefold, which I've never seen before. Background artwork, and it's on colored vinyl as well. It's got this real nice blue that complements the cover really nicely, and I really love the labels on this, which I don't know how well you can tell, but it goes along with the theme of basically that and that, and it looks beautiful. This was limited to 3,000 and Cactus got 25, so I wasn't that worried about this. Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn in mono. Now I was real surprised at the packaging of this album because it comes in this alternate cover art in this back section. You open it up and there is the album. It also comes with a poster that looks like that. There's the back. This was limited to 6,000 and they got 20. This is one I was really excited about. Their Satanic Majesties Request by the Rolling Stones with the Lenticular cover art. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty rad. Got a real nice gatefold. There's the back. And it's on this beautiful splattered vinyl. Now this is one of the ones that I was real worried about because, I mean, the Rolling Stones are incredibly popular and This was limited to 3,500 and Cactus only got 8. In my pre-Record Store Day video where I'm talking about the releases and tips and tricks and all that and what I really wanted, I talk about a release by Jason Isbell in the 400 unit that I was real curious about. This release was on the list, it had its own little page, it said a quantity and what was special about it, and then he came out and said not to buy it. He said he didn't own the rights to it anymore and he couldn't control whether or not it was put out there. So he felt like it was subpar work. He's not a fan of it. He said, it was in his early days and he's matured since then. But he warned people, don't get it, and if you do get it, don't expect it to be very good. The next day, it was deleted off the Record Store Day list. The page was gone, so I just assumed that it was done. I thought they canceled the release and that was it. I'd never heard of that happening. Well, I figured I'd keep it on my list just in case. And lo and behold, I got it. Live at Twist and Shout, November 16th, 2007. Put on vinyl for the very first time. Since this isn't on the website anymore, I have no idea what it's limited to. If you know or remember or had it on your list and happen to have the quantity, can you please let me know? Because I'm just curious. The last thing I got was the Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison box set. There's 60 songs on this album by Carl Perkins, the Statler Brothers, June Carter, the Carter family, and Johnny Cash himself. But the coolest part, in my opinion, is that the concert was filmed and recorded on January 13th, 1968. Well, on January 12th, 1968, they rehearsed for the show at Hotel El Rancho in Sacramento, and it's just a LP of them rehearsing back at the hotel room. There's a photo of it. Just people huddled around, BSing, and just random demo tapes of a couple tracks that would actually go on to be on the album. There's 9 songs on here, and they're awesome. It also comes with a 12 by 12 4-page booklet that tells you the story of At Folsom and a lot of other stuff regarding this album. This was limited to 2,500 copies and Cactus only got 6. I'm very, very, very proud to own it. This might be my new favorite Record Store Day release. Alright, I said my record store had everything that I wanted except for one thing. And that one thing was the Frank Wilson 45. It was a Record Store Day first release of Do I Love You, and then in parentheses, Indeed I Do. And the story behind that is Jack White found a test pressing, which is funny because his friend and Third Man Records guru, Ben Blackwell, did a Crate Diggers episode where he says if he could have any record in the world, it would be that rarest Motown single, which is Frank Wilson, Do I Love You, Indeed I Do. He tells the story behind it. Well, a few years go by, and fairly recently, a test pressing of it shows up. And Jack White buys it and presses it on purple vinyl for Record Store Day. Since there was a Record Store Day release and it was purple vinyl, I assume that the regular version later on will be on black vinyl, and it'll be available probably forever with Jack White. But I would have really liked to have the purple version test pressing of that, so I was a bit bummed about that. But I figured I'd go with the rest of this instead versus that 145. And it wasn't even that I really missed out on it, because I emailed them on Thursday. They emailed me back that night, and they said that they had 0 copies of it. They don't know why, but they didn't have a single one. So I figured if they didn't get it, then probably no record store in Houston did. So I just went for the rest of this stuff and figured I'd try to pick up the Frank Wilson 45, somewhere else further down the road. At least I can get it probably on black vinyl later on at Third Man. Well, that was my my Record Store Day finds. Hope you liked them. Hope you liked my videos. And yeah, tell me how your Record Store Day went. What did you pick up? What kind of experience did you have? Was it good or bad? Did you get what you want? Where'd you go? All right, thanks for watching. And yeah.